Hi there, this is Sheila Kennedy from the Zebra Inc., and we are here for the next episode of Meet the Author. And I'm here today with the esteemed Justice Joseph Valentino, and he wrote The Trial of My Life. And I would love to welcome you, Judge. Welcome.
Well, nice to see you. Nice, especially after your move.
I know. Thank you.
Nice to see you again.
So tell us how The Trial of My Life came to be. What is it about, first of all?
Okay. Well, I was a judge in the state of New York for 33 years, different courts from city court all the way up to the appellate division, New York State Supreme Court. During those 33 years, as you can imagine, many humorous things happened in court, in chambers. And I would tell my friends and family funny stories from the courts. And through the years, they kept telling me, you ought to write all these things down. And naturally, I didn't. So when I retired a few years ago, I did decide to start writing them down. And I talked to you because I think you were in town for a wedding or something. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember. And your mother told me, I'd like to let people know your dad and I were very good friends. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he passed away many years ago. And so I knew your mom and I knew you when you were a little girl.
I know.
And your mom told me about what you were doing now. And at the time, you didn't live in Rochester, I don't believe.
I was living in Rochester, I think. Yeah, because I think.
Oh, that's right. You moved. That's right.
I had just moved.
So I talked. I can't remember if you called me or I called you, one or the other. Mm-hmm. And you came over and I talked to you and you said, well, let's hear some of your stories. So I told you quite a few stories. You wrote them down. You recorded some things. And you came back and you were very honest with me. You said, you got some great stories here, but not enough for a book. Right. So I said,
so we either need more stories or
that was fun. But you said, I don't know very much about what you did in those 33 years. It might be interesting for you to tell me about some of your cases. So I started telling you about different cases that involved a lot of this humor. And it was your idea to say, okay, why don't we have a trial of your life to see if you were a good judge or not? And then the reader can be the jury and they can find whether or not you're guilty or not guilty of being a good judge. And then you said what we can do is we can formulate it like a trial. In other words, we'll have opening statements. We'll have witnesses. We can have character witnesses for you. We can have sidebars, like comments on different things. We can have chapters on your humorous stories, the most humorous. We can have chapters on advice. And then we can have a summation at the end, and then the jury can decide. So I thought that was a great idea. I didn't think I would have enough for all of this. But you came over quite often. My dog fell in love with you, Teddy. So whenever you came over, he would always sit on your foot while you were trying to either write or record.
Right.
And so that's how the book came into play. I was amazed because as a judge, I never did much writing except for legal writing. So consequently, I thought what I would come out with would be dull for the average reader, but you and I worked together and you made it palpable so that people would be able to read it. And so that's how the book came into being. It's light reading. I would tell everybody, it's not like a life story like Obama's new book, which I'm reading right now.
Okay.
Which is different. It's more of a biography, or in his case, an autobiography. This is like a comment on what a judge sees in court and what a judge observes and experiences, because I wanted to show the reader what was going through my mind when I was at trials. I'll give you one quick example.
Mhm.
It was a murder trial where a person was on trial for killing his wife. And it was quite a public trial. I mean, there was a lot of publicity about it. And I remember after the jury was selected and the trial was ready to go with opening statements, I came into court. It was all rise. Everybody in the courtroom stood up. The courtroom was packed. I sat down and I looked out in the courtroom, and it occurred to me as I looked out that I saw the victim's family of the homicide. The victim's family was all sitting behind the district attorney's table. And then you looked over and the defendant's family was all sitting behind the defendant's table. And it occurred to me at that second, I looked out and I realized, you know, the last time those two families sat in a room like this and were together was at their wedding, the wedding between the victim and the defendant. And you get a profound feeling of sadness, realizing that her life is lost, his life is going to be lost if he's found guilty, which he eventually was, and both families are affected for the rest of their life. So this is some of the things that judges go through. And so I wanted to get that across in the book so people could see behind the scenes. Like,
Well, and I think you're very humble, Judge, and I would like to interject for a second. And part of the reason we wrote the book the way it was because of an article that was written about you by Gary Craig in the Democrat Chronicle as you retired. And the headline that day was "Judge Displays Humanity in the Courtroom." And that was the premise behind what we were trying to prove, what you were on trial for, is did you really show humanity? Did you really, the fact that you just gave us the example that you did from the book, and to show how, your humanity was, your empathy was really, put into play. And that's why we wanted to have the readers judge that, because you were like, I hope I did that, but I was like, you did do that, and we're going to show you that you did. And I think that you had a career that was full of seeing people as they were, and just really seeing people. And that is something that I think is rare for, the everyday human, especially not present for somebody as an esteemed judge. And so, I think that the fact that you chose that one example, it just really just shouts out, really exemplifies how much dignity you have for everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. It was an honor to work on this book with you. Okay, so tell me about, I know you've gotten lots of feedback. I mean, there are a bunch of everybody from every corner has come, and had something to say about the book. And I remember when we launched the book and we had a party that night, and, people came, and I heard so many wonderful stories about you and, and people's interaction with you. I have yet to meet anybody that has said anything negative about you. And if you had a negative experience with them, they were like, yeah, but I deserved it. And so it couldn't even not like the judge because of that. But so I know you had some really good feedback, and I would love it if you would read a review that meant something to you.
Okay. But the funny thing, you talk about feedback. Once the book started to get out into the public, I started getting invited to book club, monthly book club meetings and coffees, and things like that. And that was the first time I experienced feedback, a good review feedback. So that did make me feel very, very nice. Yeah. What I did, you told me to get a review. And so I just went on Amazon, because the book is available on Amazon, and there are reviews there. And this one review I got, it's not very long, but I like the fact that the person feels that she saw respect in the reading of it. I believe it's from a woman because of there's not a full name on the top, but it says, "I love the unusual approach to writing a memoir. So many of them are more than a journal or reporting of events. Valentino breaks up his story in a myriad of fascinating ways, one of which was the character witnesses. Having been a bar certified paralegal, I at least have a working knowledge of the legal system. The book overlays so much of that in a surprising and delightful manner. What I enjoyed most, however, was seeing the heart and soul of a man I know I would respect, a person I would like to emulate in my own life." So I felt really good about that review. So that's why I selected it.
Well, that was a beautiful review. I love that. And it's spot on. So I appreciate that. Okay. So is there anything else that you would like the readers to know about the book before I get into some personal questions?
No, it's just, I think we covered everything that, I'd like people to read it and enjoy it. I had a couple of people let me know that, especially in the humor section, that they burst out laughing. One fellow told me he laughed so hard he woke up his wife at night while they were in bed, because there are a couple of very funny things. And some people have said to me, "Did that really happen in court?" And I said, "Absolutely. Everything you're reading is 100%.
Right.
So I think it's enjoyable. Like I said, it's light reading. It's enjoyable. And I just like people to know that. And I hope they can learn something about the court system by reading it."
Yeah. Well, and it is funny. Like I don't consider myself, a very humorous person, but I mean, I laugh. And I think it's funny, and it is lighthearted, even though you're talking about some very, very rough and dark things. It's done in a way that doesn't make you feel that way. You don't come across, and I think part of that is because you are always seeing the humanity in all of those situations. So, okay, so tell me a little bit, when you're not writing, how do you like to spend your free time?
Well, I'm very fortunate. I have 4 sons and 4 daughters-in-law who have all come back to Rochester. They all live in Rochester now. So before this epidemic, I got to see them quite a bit. I got to go to school events to see my grandchildren. I have 9 grandchildren now, and I got to go to a lot of sporting events. And that's what I really love. I love being with the family. We spend a lot of time in the summers together. And so that's my prime time, is with the family. I like to play music. As you'll see in the book, when I was in college, I played in a band. And after college, I played quite a few charity events around town. And so I still like to play the guitar. Lately, haven't been playing so much, unfortunately. I like to play golf. It's funny, this summer I didn't play golf as much as I wanted, but because they relaxed it a bit, and they cleaned the golf carts, and they let one person per golf cart go out. And when you were out on the fairway, there was no mask because you were all by yourself. And it was the closest thing to normal this summer, was being on the golf course. So the times that I went out, I enjoy that. I was asked to teach a law course at a local college this past semester. And I told them I'd teach, but it would be only by remote. And they said that was fine. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that quite a bit because it got me back into research. I use the book once in a while. I use cases from the book, and I enjoyed that. So those kind of things I've been involved in. I've been asked to be on different boards. And I was just at a meeting this morning, another Zoom meeting. I'm becoming the Zoom king, I think.
I love it.
But I was at a board meeting today on the District Attorney's Conviction Integrity Unit. they asked me to be on that as a retired judge. They have those all over the state of New York now, where we review convictions to see if everything was done properly.
Nice.
There's been quite a bit of publicity about those in Brooklyn and downstate. So that's basically the time. When I knew I was going to retire, I was concerned because I was always busy, and I thought, I don't know if I'm going to like this. But once I retired, there were so many things. You know, people ask you to do this, and you have more time to do other things. I have more time to read now, other than law articles, and so I can read for pleasure, and I always like to read. So that's basically what I do in my free time. And I can't wait till this epidemic is over so I can see my children and grandchildren more often.
I love it. Well, I know the connection is really important to you, and you are definitely a people person. And I think years and years of being a political candidate and, you know, all of those things, you know, you really know how to connect with people, and you really know how to make them feel important. So how would you like your readers to connect with you? What would be a good way to do that?
You mean it's after reading the book? Are you
Right, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They could probably visit you on the Trial of Your Life fan page on Facebook. That would be a great way for you to do that.
I was just going to say that they can do that. Trial of My Life, on Facebook. I'm on my son showed me how to get on all these things, like the Twitter page or whatever it is.
Nice.
What's the other page where you can do private messages?
LinkedIn?
No, a message thing or something.
Messenger
Messenger,
on Facebook?
yeah.
Okay,
right.
Good. All right.
You always laughed at me because I was so computer illiterate.
It's okay. Look at you now.
Yeah.
Doing Zoom meetings all by yourself. Like,
yeah, that's true.
It's great.
So no, I would love it if they people wanted to contact me like that. That would be great.
Okay, great. And I know that you're available for speaking engagements via Zoom right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, things like that. So if you are interested, and they can always get to you through me, you can reach me at the publisher or at publisher@thezebrainc.com. If you need to get in contact with the judge, that would be fine. Well, thank you so much for being here today. And this episode of Meet the Author with Joseph Valentino and his book, The Trial of My Life. Y'all go get it. It's on Amazon. And it's also, the judge has the book in 3 different versions. So it is in print, it is in an ebook, and it's an audiobook, which we went and, you know, actually recorded different parts.
Now that you're talking about the book, you made me laugh because I was thinking what I should have done is I've seen on television things, all these people that are interviewed like on CNN or Fox, they always have a copy of the book like
behind you,
them,
right?
I should have put one on the table back there.
That's all right. That's okay. That's why I had to hold it up.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. And we will check in next time for the next episode of Meet the Author. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Bye for
now.
now.
It was my pleasure. Nice to see you again.
It's good to see you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.